High water was a familiar sight in the Alzey bottoms each winter. Many times the Ohio River would rise and sometimes threaten the very routine existence of these farmers that lived in Henderson, Kentucky. Lillian Thomas, a very large woman as compared to her diminutive husband, Felix Thomas. One 4th of July found them clowning around this old fancy automobile over in Burdett Park, Evansville, Indiana. The Alzey bottoms provided an extreme fertile place to raise crops of corn and beans and tobacco. Granddad could be seen on his tractor many a day out in the field, either plowing or disking, baling, or just working around on the farm on the equipment. It was a big job, so sometimes he required a little help from Mr. Wilson, a hired hand. And yes, there were times when there was no work to do, and it was nothing more relaxing to sit out on the front porch and enjoy the summer day, or take pictures of the young ones. There were 5 in all. That's Jean near the front porch, and there is Freda and Susie, the youngest and the oldest, playing with the dog, and then Junior and Ducky. Junior's in the car. Playing in the road was not much of a threat for the Thomas family. The infrequent travel along the dirt road in front of the Thomas house made it a veritable playground. They even had their own beach. There was a sandbar down by the river. It was just down the road to the east, just past the barn. Although not much else changed down in the Alzey bottoms. As you can see, the kids grew and became adults. Farm life in the 30s, 40s, and 50s was rich with many memories. Red was an old mule around the farm. He was a hard worker. He also provided many hours of enjoyment for the kids. Junior even raised hogs. Holding the 2 dogs is Uncle Will McGann. His sister Ida was Lillian's mother. Lillian's uncle, Will, would help out with some of the farm chores, especially the hog killing. Hog killing was a big way of life on the farm, although it did seem somewhat gruesome by city standards. Junior went off to become a pilot in the Korean conflict. On your collar when your button's not in sight. Put your hand beneath your seat and you will find it there all right. Does the spearmint lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? Does the spearmint lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? If your teacher tells you not to chew it, swallow it, but fight, could you grab it with your tonsils and then swing it left and right? Does the spearmint lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? When you stepped off the back porch and turned to your left, you'd be facing east towards the old corn barn. In the back of the barn, as you can see in the distance, it had an elevated gangway ramp. The main floor of the barn was elevated about 10 feet off of the ground. This proved to be quite useful when the floods came in the winter and spring. The small, slender structure in front of the barn was the outhouse. There was no septic tank or sewer, just a hole dug in the ground. It looks like where Granddad Felix is working, that he's getting ready to dig the new hole for the new outhouse, because that's where it was when I remember it. To the left, behind the large tree, was the garage. That's where they stored the tractor and the vehicles. The brick walkway to the right took you towards the chicken coop, where one could go out and get their daily supply of eggs. My cousin, Sonny Barker. He was Ducky's son, a veritable encyclopedia of foul jokes, expressions, and stories. About 3 years older than me, he lived in Evansville, Indiana. Being the fine little Baptist boy that I was, I looked forward to the times when my view of the world was broadened by his enlightening insights from the coarser facets of life.
Why is everybody always picking on me? Who's always writing on the wall?
Christmas time and some rare Sunday afternoons would find us at the Alzey farm.
Guess who? Me? Yeah, you. Walks in the classroom, cool and
Sonny's mom here just inside the kitchen of the old farmhouse. Beth Brewer, Jean's daughter, and Kim Thomas, Jr.'s daughter, stand in front of the old smokehouse just behind the back porch. My Aunt Jean and her daughter Beth stand beside me and Granddad. My dad, Bethel Reynolds, taking pictures in the living room. Notice the old coal furnace beside him. That's me between my parents and Freda, enjoying a typical Sunday lunch in the kitchen at Grandmother's farm. This 1965 video may be the only known example of a visit to the Thomas farmhouse. The little blonde girl in the white blouse is my 5-year-old sister, Bethany. The shy ones lined up against the back wall is Kimmy and Craig Thomas, along with Beth Brewer.
If I had a talking picture of you, I would...
Freda's sons, the oldest, Johnny and Michael. I'm the 12-year-old in the white shirt.
Of my lonely little room and
Ducky and her second son, Tommy.
Love you on screen the moment you came in view. We would talk the whole thing over, we two.
Granddad would always offer me a stick of dentine out of the pocket of his overalls.
If I had a talking picture of you.
Freda, Junior's wife, Janice, pouring the tea. Surrounding the entire kitchen near the ceiling was a souvenir plate from every state in the Union. "35 years have dimmed the memory, but not my fondness for them."
I have heard of a land on a faraway strand. 'Tis a beautiful home of the soul, built by Jesus on high. There we never shall die. 'Tis a land where we'll never grow, never grow, never grow in a land grow, never grow, never grow in a land where we'll never grow, never grow, never grow in a land where we'll never grow.